Joey McGuire and crew start the 2026 recruiting class out with a bang, landing a 4-star linebacker. In today's video, we'll discuss him as well as the scrimmage notes from scrimmage number 2. Inside the Jones, what did Joey McGuire have to say about the team, who stood out, and also what he thinks fans will notice about the new and improved Jones AT&T Stadium. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's RC Maxfield here for the Back to 12 podcast. And listen, football's not too far away, people. Less than 2 weeks away from Texas Tech kicking off game number 1 of the 2024 season. If you want to stay in the know on all things Texas Tech football on the gridiron and off of it, do these 3 things for me. Like the video, hit that subscribe button, and could turn on the notification bell if you want. But tell 5, maybe 10 of your friends so we can get as many Red Raiders in here as possible. We will be live streaming the game, doing live commentary, having instant reaction post-game, and much, much more throughout the season. So join the largest group of Texas Tech fans on YouTube right here in the Back to 12 podcast channel. All right, let's jump into this because nice little way to start the 2026 class if you're Joey McGuire and crew. They landed Tieson Ejiawoko from Georgetown, Texas. Specifically Eastview High School. He committed to the Red Raiders on Friday, August 16th, which happened to be his birthday as well. Happy birthday to Tieson. He had several D1 offers, including the likes of Oregon State, Washington State, Houston, and a couple others as well. Watching the tape that I've seen of Tieson, he is a true sideline-to-sideline guy. And listen, he does not look 6'3" on film, but my goodness, when he starts to run, you can see it. I mean, he pops when it comes to sideline to sideline. And oh, by the way, he's not afraid to go get dirty in the run game either. He's there in the A, B, or C gaps and really making an impact. It felt like every play you could find of him, he was the one around the football. Period. And it just wasn't just his highlights. This was one of those deals where maybe he wasn't the one making the initial tackle, but he was the one helping finish it. Okay. He's a guy that really stood out from that perspective. And also, he seems to have a high football IQ. Again, he's going into, if you think about this, his junior season of football. So you got a little ways to keep the commitment if you're Joey McGuire and crew, but this was a really, really good add for the Red Raiders in terms of a potential building block going into that 2026 recruiting class, because a lot of people have been disappointed in the 2025 one. If you listen to Joey McGuire, it was always going to be a small class. That is what is impacting the number in terms of the recruiting ranking for the Red Raiders. I know 247 Sports had the Red Raiders with like the 38th, 42nd best class in the country. It's because it's going to be a smaller class, but you look at it and typically, yeah, they're getting guys that they're not typically getting. It's just a smaller class compared to everybody else. But this is one of those guys, is Tieson. That's a really fundamental building block for the Red Raiders, kickstarting that 2026 recruiting class out in the 806. All right, scrimmage notes, because, hey, it's time of the year, right? You've already had one scrimmage. Now you go to scrimmage number 2. After this, you're damn near an ACU game week, right? Which is crazy to think about. I mean, school starts out in the 806, I believe, on the 26th of August. So, I mean, we're just a week away from the fall semester actually kicking off out there. But these are the scrimmage notes from Joey McGuire for scrimmage number 2. And again, the cool part about scrimmage number 2 was the fact that it was under the lights at the Jones. So some of these guys, this was the first time them playing there. Even if it was a scrimmage, it's good to get them acclimated, feel for the stadium, just how big it is. Also, you got to see the new south end zone in terms of how's that going to play with the wind if you're a kicker, right? There's a lot of factors there, not to mention the new sound system and everything in between. Nonetheless, let's get into what Joey McGuire said about scrimmage number 2. The first thing that he said in his, I believe it was a post-scrimmage presser. It's on the Texas Tech YouTube channel as well. He said McGuire, they came out healthy. And that's the big thing here, right? You don't want to have injuries going into the games that actually matter, right? Getting injured in a scrimmage just to the buildup for the games that matter obviously isn't ideal. Now, he did say that some veterans were limited or just flat out did not play. The most notable one that did not play, Taj Brooks, rightfully so, right? You know what Taj Brooks is. He doesn't need to get ready in a scrimmage. He doesn't need to win his spot. He's already won it. Now, a couple other guys that didn't play a whole lot in this one, according to Coach McGuire, were Josh Kelly, Then you've got Coy Aiken and also Caleb, don't forget the payday Douglas, right? So that kind of gives you an indication where the wide receiver room is right now. He mentioned that the younger guys got a lot of playing time, and it's not a surprise in the sense that Micah Hudson's trying to ramp his way back up after having a knee procedure this offseason. You also got guys in there that he mentioned that were really trying to go out and make a name for themselves in terms of potentially climbing up a little bit. You know, you got the Wests out there, the Volsons. You've got some other guys. He mentioned Brady Boyd in terms of an upperclassman actually having a good game as well. So that was something that stood out. Now, Coach McGuire has been adamant about the defense this year in terms of spring into the fall, about the strengths of that side of the football for the Red Raiders. And the two that he has talked about what feels like every chance he gets, and rightfully so. If you have a vindication about this, talk about it, right? Let the fans know. There's two critical aspects that he's talked about, and that is speed and the depth, right? You think about it from the secondary perspective. I've gone on record over on the Scarlet and Black Insider. By the way, we have a $1 promo up until kickoff. Head on over there and use the code. Well, you're going to have to use it FB24 to get your first month free all the way up until Texas Tech kickoff. So you're going to want to get on that. But I mentioned it over there. The secondary might be the best position group in terms of depth that Texas Tech has. Now, they have some proven guys back there as well. Obviously, CJ Baskerville leads the way in that regard, but you've got a ton of depth and a ton of speed, and it just doesn't stop in the secondary when the speed aspect comes involved. You got some quick linebackers too, right? You think about Jacob Rodriguez. You think about the Ben Roberts of the world. You've got Curry down there, Dingle, right? Like you've got a lot of guys that really could impact the game, and I want to give him credit as well. Horn, you've got 5 guys there that have really stood out, and there's a couple others as well. Now, when it comes to the depth, really the defense has quality depth for the first time since you guys let me know. But the defensive line is the area that has the most depth that is probably the least proven. And now that could be scary to some of you out there, but I think it's encouraging from this standpoint. And no, don't come in my comments saying, RC, you're drinking the Kool-Aid or anything. No, I think it's a positive because if you don't have one clear-cut guy on the defensive line, you can't be game planned for at that point. You can mix and match if you're Coach DeRuiter in terms of, okay, this is a more physical offensive line. Let's get some speed guys in there potentially and see if we can get them off, right, in terms of their spots. There's also the fact, okay, this is more finesse. Let's go in there and bully them. Let's get those big guys in there in terms of the Quincy Ledet Juniors and others that are good in the bull rush, okay? You have options, and that's something that Texas Tech hasn't had. Now, granted, last year, you didn't really need any options because you had Tony Bradford and Jalen Hutchins. But this year, you're looking to replace 2 of the better defensive linemen in program history in terms of their longevity and impact on the program, and you've got 6-7 guys you feel good about, and we haven't even talked about the edge group yet in terms of, yes, you are going to have to replace Cole Spencer, but you have some guys there in terms of at least their pedigree that should be in the stages of, okay, we need you to step up. You should be able to do it now, right? You think about Isaac Smith coming back. You've also got some other guys out there in terms of the Charles Esters of the world. Dyson, right? Like you've got guys there that should be able to step up and be serviceable, but it is going to be a line shift hockey type defensive line for the Red Raiders. And that is where the depth comes in. One more time on the south end zone, though, McGuire did talk about it in terms of it was good to see the players out there kind of seeing what it was like, albeit without 60,000 screaming Scarlet and Black, in Scarlet and Black, I should say, and Red Raider Nation out there. But it was good to get them acclimated to the field, see how the south end zone was going to play. What was the sound system like? And just get guys on that beloved Jones AT&T Stadium turf. So, again, the big news for the Red Raiders, well, there's 2. Scrimmage number 2 out of the way. We inch closer to kickoff on August 31st. And, again, we'll do a live stream here on the channel, so come hang out on Saturday night, August 31st at 6 p.m. We'll have a pregame. We'll talk with you throughout the whole game, and then we'll have a postgame as well. But the other news in Texas Tech football's world, they landed a 2026 4-star linebacker in Tieson Ejiawoko from Georgetown, Texas, Eastview High School. So big-time stuff for the Red Raiders in terms of starting the 2026 class off right. I am RC Maxfield, reminding you one more time, if you haven't already, like the video, hit that subscribe button, and while you're at it, you might as well tell 5, 10, maybe 20 of your friends, depending how big that group chat is, about the channel so we can have the largest group of Texas Tech fans and the most interactive group of Texas Tech fans, not only on YouTube, but the internet, giving you daily free videos and everything in between. This is your one-stop shop for everything Texas Tech football right here on the Back to 12 podcast channel.